Hello and welcome to Create With Us. My name is Jacqueline and I'm the Community Science Outreach Coordinator for the Pacific Grove Museum of Natural History. And you won't believe what craft we have in store for you today. Now, before we jump into our craft, I want to talk a little bit about leaves and why they might change color. So, here in Monterey County, we have two main groups of trees. We have evergreen trees and deciduous trees. Now, evergreens, as their name suggests, really do stay green all year long, meaning their leaves tend to stay green all year. Deciduous trees, however, their leaves tend to change color with the season. So, as the days get shorter and there's less sunlight available, leaves will turn from this beautiful green color to maybe a red, even an orange color, and possibly even yellow. Now, the changing of leaves just has to do with about how much sunlight the leaves are getting. Leaves that get a lot of sunlight for the majority of the day will be a bright green color because they're producing the chemical chlorophyll, which helps them with photosynthesis. The less chlorophyll there is, the more other chemicals there are will build up and the leaves will change color. Now, leaves will eventually fall off the tree and allowing the tree to just store food over the winter. Now, if these look familiar, that's probably because I found them right here in my Monterey County neighborhood. But these traditional looking leaves aren't the only ones that tend to fall off during the fall. Pine needles are also considered leaves. They're modified leaves, and they'll be bright green, in the spring and in the summer, but they too will lose their color and fall. The pine needles will rest at the base of the tree and will break down, giving nutrients to the tree to survive through the winter. Wow, that's a lot of really cool stuff. Are you ready to use some of these leaves? Fantastic. So today we're going to be making a bowl made entirely out of leaves. So this craft, you're definitely going to need an adult's help. The materials that you'll also need is a bunch of leaves. Now, make sure that you don't pull any leaves that are on trees, and you pick up leaves that have already fallen to the ground. When picking out leaves, I like to get a variety of different colors for my craft, and you really want to make sure that you have an adult or maybe an older person helping you distinguish, because here in Monterey County, we do have poison oak, and poison oak tends to be a kind of a reddish color during this time of year, and we want to make sure we don't touch that. So leaves, you will need some mod-podge. Now, mod-podge is something that you might not have at home, but it's fairly inexpensive and can be found at any craft or school supply store. You'll need a sponge paintbrush, some plastic wrap, and a bowl. Now, if you don't want to use a bowl and plastic wrap and you have a balloon, you can use a balloon. So in the balloon version of this, you will blow up the balloon, tie it off, and then put your leaves on that, okay? But I'm going to use a bowl and just some saran wrap. Are you ready to get started? Great. So first, we are going to take our bowl and we are going to wrap it in our plastic wrap. Now, the plastic wrap is to protect our bowl from getting any leaves glued to it. Okay. We're just going to wrap the bottom of our bowl. I like to use the outside of my bowl for shaping, okay? Some people, when they're making leaf bowls, will use the inside, but I feel like it's easier to use the outside, okay? Now that our bowl is covered in our plastic wrap, gonna place it down, and you're gonna get your mod-podge, and a mod-podge is like a type of glue, and our paintbrush, and we're gonna dab our glue onto the plastic like so, and we're just gonna be really generous with it. Okay, just like that. And we'll start to add our leaves to the mix, okay? And we're gonna be adding about 2 to 4 layers of leaves. This all depends on how big your bowl is and how many leaves you're able to collect. Now, you wanna make sure that you remove the stems from your leaves as well. This makes it a lot easier for gluing it into a bowl-like shape, okay? Now, Mod Podge kind of takes a little while to dry, so unlike other crafts, this one's gonna take a little bit longer. I like to do a layer or 2, let it dry a little bit, and then come back and do another layer or 2, let it dry, and then I sometimes come back again and even do 1 more layer, just to make sure that I have a nice sturdy bowl. Okay, and then once all of your layers are done, you're gonna wanna let it sit either overnight or a whole day before removing it from the bowl and the plastic. Now that my bowl is nice and dry, it's time to see our finished product. Now, I let this sit overnight, and first thing, I'm going to peel back our plastic wrap, remove our bowl, and gently peel my leaves from the plastic. Now we want to make sure that we're not ripping our leaves at all. Another option is just to cut your plastic to match the shape of the bowl so that the inside of your bowl is your plastic wrap, but it doesn't spill over and you still have these leafy edges. So it looks like my Mod Podge is still a little wet. So that means I probably should have let my bowl sit a bit longer. I will have to let this dry, but it will be ready to use for almost anything, just no food items. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Create With Us, but we're not done yet. I want to show you one more thing. Turkey leaf mason jar. This is a really fun, simple, easy craft that anybody can do, and it can be used to place notes of thankfulness inside. So every time you think of something that you're thankful for or brought you joy, you write a little note and you place it inside, and then at the end of the month, you can read all of those thankfulness notes together with your family. So it's this really cute, simple idea. Turkeys are always a fun craft to do. We also have our decorative mason jars and our unbelievable leaf bowl. Thank you so much for joining me on Create With Us, and I can't wait to see what we create next.